Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. Today's video is on an improvement for the Global War 1936 version 4 and Global War 1914 maps. Now, I was teasing this online a few weeks ago, I guess, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, with some people on Board Gaming Bros Global War Games. It's a site on Discord. If you're not on there and you're a global warrior, you should check it out. Anyway, I was saying that we were printing an improvement for these maps, and so there was some guesses here and there and everything, and I wasn't going to give any hints because this is a big surprise, and I think you're going to like it. At least most of you will anyway. Some of you, it's not your thing, but for those who like to pimp out their maps, this is something which is cool. So, what do you say we head down to Australia and start there, okay? We'll just fly on down there in the rig. So, let's take a look at, do you see that improvement? Here, let's center that. Let's zoom in a bit here. You still don't see it? There's the Great Barrier Reef. That's pretty cool. That's something that we did new this year. Anyway, the printing that we did was not, I repeat, it was not with ink. It was with filament. Check that out. You see that? That's the Australian outback. So, yeah, 3D printed. It's tough to see here, but I'll show you later better what it looks like. So we've got a tree here, we've got a few kangaroos. I think there's a camel or two down there. There's some more kangaroos over here. There's a rock formation in there. Anyway, kind of cool, isn't it? So let me just show you a picture. You see, we sent it out to Stephen Gelso. You might know his name. Him and his brother Dominic, they go to tournaments. They've played in BBR tournaments in LA and Atlanta and St. Louis. But probably what Stephen's best known for is his paint jobs. The guy's just a phenomenal painter. So anyway, Doug sent him some stuff, and let me just show you what it is. Okay, so you see here, there's a picture looking down from the south. He's painted the Australian outback, and you can see it better now. It's got some definition. That rock face there is a little darker. And I did look online for pictures of the outback because I want to paint my own. And sure enough, the rocks there are kind of a reddish color. And here's another picture. So that's a close-up of what's going on over by that tree there. So you can see the animals over there. There's a few sticks on the ground. Few rocks. Anyway, kind of cool, isn't it? So that's an improvement. Anyway, so that's one of the improvements. There's a couple more. I'm going to show them to you. Hang on. Okay, so we're up in the Ukraine now, and as you can see here, we have the Pripet marshes. So that's another impassable zone in the game. And so we thought, we could cover these impassable zones because you can't put units there anyway. And so why not, right? Let's zoom in on that sucker. Let's see what's going on down there. Here, got to move that back a bit. So you can see over here, there's some marsh over there. And there is, what are those? Flamingos, I guess. And then you can see down over here where there's a break. Oops. Not looking at the camera, sorry folks. So over here there's a break in the foliage there. That's because there's a river here, so I'll show you. So there's a river going through there. So when I paint mine up, I'm going to be painting a river through there. And let's just see what Mr. Gelso painted up. Okay, so there it is looking down from the south there. You can see those flamingos. He's painted them pink in there. And you can see the foliage a lot better because there's some definition there. It's not all one color. And the tops of them, he's got yellow. And there's a few other different kinds in there. It looks like he might not have painted the river in there. I'm not sure. Anyway, whoever buys these things can paint them however they want, right? Let's see, he's got another one here. So there's another angle of it, and it's from a little further away. But anyway, that's pretty cool. I got another one to show you though. Let me just take a look here. We'll pause this and we'll go over there and take a look. So if you've received your V4 map, then you must have noticed by now, if you didn't already know before it got there, that there's another impassable zone in South America. And that's this one over here. It's just called Amazon Impassable. And so now you can't get from this territory, this Brazilian territory, you can't go directly to Colombia or Ecuador or Peru like you could before. You can still go to Bolivia or Venezuela up there, but you can't go through the impassable zone. So of course, if we're going to make an impassable zone, we might as well make an improvement, right? Let's just throw that down there. How's that one? I really like this one. I think that this one might be my favorite right here. Let's zoom in on that baby there. So you can see there's a, what is that, an Aztec pyramid there. That's kind of cool. It's good. There's lots of different kinds of shrubs there. And again, a little bit different color than the Pripet marshes. Here, let's just take a look at the undergrowth there. It's not like real trees because 3D printed. You've got to be able to make it stand up, and that was one of the challenges. Like when I teased it a while ago, I thought that it was going to be there within days, right? We were going to be done. But the thing is, this is something new for historical board gaming, is printing things this big. And plus there's 3 different sizes, remember, right? You've got the 5x10 map and the 4x8 map and the 3x6 map. So you make one of these things for the 5x10 map, and then you print the same thing for the 3x6 map, and you find out that the trees don't stand up. Like it won't even print properly because it's smaller, right? So then you have to scale it up, and then you have to scale it up, and like it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of test printing, and you know, and going for different colors and stuff like that. Anyway, they did a pretty good job with that one in the end. Let's take a look at what my friend Stephen there did. Stephen Gelso. Oh wow, that's pretty nice. So yeah, like you can see the, let's call it a temple. It looks like a pyramid, but we'll call it a temple. I'm pretty sure it would be Aztec because I think the Mayans were further north than that. I could be wrong, though. I have no idea. But I like the fact, like when you paint them up like that, that you can get different colors of foliage in there, and so that it gives it more depth. It doesn't just look like a green blob like mine does on the table there. I mean, you can still do that. Like if you're dead set against painting anything, then sure enough, like at least we got them in the colors that are pretty close to what they should be anyway. It's just this detail you're not going to get out of them if you don't paint them. So there's one picture. Let's see what else he's got here. Okay, there's just a different angle there and looking down on it. And as I'm noticing it there, you see the rivers are going through there, right? So there's some more rivers I can paint. So let's just go back and take a look at the board and see those rivers in there. So we'll just move over here. Oh yeah, so you be painting rivers. There's 3 rivers going through there. That's kind of cool. Anyway, that's neat. So that's 3 of the impassable zones. Is that all the impassable zones we have on the board? Don't scream at your computer. Yeah, I know there is. Let's get to the next one. So we've got 3 improvements now. We've got the outback, and we've got the Pripet marshes that you see here, and we have that Amazon that I just showed you. Let's head south. I'm pretty sure there's an impassable zone down there in Africa. Look at that. Look at the size of that thing. It's so big that we had to make it in 3 different pieces because if you tried to print something that thin and that big, it just wouldn't work. Like, I'm not a 3D printer myself, but from what I understand, it's just not going to work, right? Plus, I don't think they have printers that are big enough at historical board gaming. Like, they've got a couple of 3D printers, but none of them are that size. I think this is getting pretty close to as big as they can do. Let's move in closer though and take a look. So let's zoom in a bit. So you can see there's an oasis there, and there's some camels in there. It's hard to see right now, but there's also like a pond in there. We'll see that when we take a look at Stephen Gelso's pictures. I can see it, but I know like it's really difficult to see on the camera. You see that line that's there at the bottom of the screen there, it kind of goes over the dunes and everything. That is the border. And the reason there's a border there, and it's throughout, like all the borders that are inside of the Sahara, I had Doug print them in there. They weren't on there originally. But the Sahara isn't impassable for the 1914 game. You can use camels in there. So that's why we needed the borders on there, is for the 1914 game. And you can see the colors of the borders. I'm just going to paint those lines the same color as the borders are, right? So let's move along here. I think there's something in here in this middle section. Yeah, I think that's it right there. Let's zoom in. Yeah, it's hard to see, but I'll show you a picture. You can see it later. That's the CSS Texas. Like, I'm getting at the extent of my zoom here, so it's not very clear. Let's just zoom back out again. But anyway, that's the middle section. And then over here on the other section here, on the eastern side, you can see there's 3 pyramids in there. And down at the bottom there's the Quatra Depression. I think it's Quatra, isn't it? Yeah, Quatra. Anyway, let me just pause this for a second. I want to take you down to the other end to show you something cool. Okay, so let's just do a flyover here. Let's just get a little bit closer if we can. And we'll just fly down the length of it there. There we go. There's the middle section. See that boat in there? That's the CSS Texas. It's a Confederate States of America boat. What it's doing in the Sahara Desert, you'd have to ask Doug. Yeah, as you can see in a minute, though, like, he likes to do his alternate universe stuff. So there's that thing down in there. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was this middle section here. Where are we? So let's zoom out a bit. Okay, so the middle section, like you see in the CSS Texas, right? Doug had the idea, hey, if we're gonna have a section there, we're not sure what to put in there, let's just put a bunch of things. So as I'm taking this apart, this is the only one I've put magnets on. That's why I started with this one. But you can see here, they've drilled holes for here, let me just show you the holes here. So there's the holes there. These holes are actually a little bit bigger. I drilled them out a little bit more. I'll show you, I'll do another video down the road showing you how to do this so that you don't wreck it. Anyway, there's magnets on all of these sections here. And so, I mean, it's not enough to be able to pick it up or anything, but it will hold it together a lot better. But it's really heavy. Like, it's surprising how heavy this is. So anyway, take out that metal section and we'll put in this metal section. So this middle section here doesn't have anything in it, like other than the sand dunes and everything. There's no other features in it, right? And it doesn't have the magnets on there yet, so I can move it a lot easier. But let's put in something else here. So there is a starfighter. Here, let's just zoom that in a bit. There's a starfighter from Star Wars. Can you see that in there? Tough to see with everything being the same color. It'll look a lot better once it's painted. Here, let's just move that out of there. What else we got here? Oh, this one here. Check this guy out. That is the sandworm from Dune. Pretty cool, eh? Anyway, so there's a few things. And let's just take a look at the pictures that I have now. First, we'll look at the pictures that Stephen has, and then we'll take a look at some of the other pictures that we've got of other things that we're going to print in there. Okay, so here we are. You can see it looks a lot better painted. It's got some definition there, and you can see the oasis. So that's an overview. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, there's the oasis now, and you can see the water in there. You can see the animals and the trees, the palm trees. And what else do we have? Okay, so these camels here. This is on the middle section, and we actually, this one here is about a month or so old. Doug sent Stephen these things about a month ago to paint, and we've decided not to go with these camels anymore because they're too breakable. Like they're actually quite small, the stuff that's in there, right? So we're not going to do the camels anymore. We're going to do other things. Try to get things that aren't so breakable. And here's the other side where you can see the Quattro Depression, and you can see the pyramids. You can see the river there. Looks like I'm going to have to paint mine, or we all are, whoever wants to buy these. We're going to have to paint some of the river on some of the edges on there, because it does cover up the river just slightly. And in this picture also he has it's just a little off where it should be. Like that should go a little bit to the left of where it is now. And so, but it does look like on the thing there that that there should be a river painted on it. So that's kind of neat. And what else do we got here? I think we just got some overviews. Yeah, so there's one looking from the Atlantic Ocean, and you can see all the way down there. And then we have on the other side looking from the Indian Ocean. So there you go. The ones that he painted is for a 3x6 map. Let's take a look at some of the things that we're going to put in the center there. So there's one there. It's a York bomber. What he was doing down there, I don't know. The Berlin's that way, dude. Looks like he went off course a little. Anyway, that'll be printed on the middle section. Or I like this one here. This is a Crash Zeppelin. I'd like to get one of these for the 1914 game. You know, and I'll put a little German sticker on there and paint it up and everything. And then that CSS there, you can see it a little better there, and you can see the border on the top there. That's the Confederate States boat there. Yeah. And there's our dune worm. Get a better look at him in this picture. This is the 3D modeling pictures. And here's an Independence Day ship. Will Smith he probably crashed it into the desert there. Okay, so here's one. I'm not sure what those are called. I can't remember, but anyway, there's a Star Wars thing. I'm not sure if that holds up very well. You'd think that if the camels didn't. Maybe this guy is bigger though. Maybe he does hold up good. That'd be kind of a neat one to have, I guess. I'd prefer, I think, the bomber and the other thing. Like, I'm not into the mixing my World War II stuff and World War I stuff with alternative reality. That's why I was never a big fan of the zombies mixed in with the Axis and Allies game. To me, it's just, you know, if something's historical, well, it already happened. I know there was no zombies there, right? But you never know. Like, people might think this stuff's cool. So here, the next one is the Stargate from the show Stargate. Or I guess, yeah, it's a TV show. It's also a movie, I think. And then the last one we have here, there's the mummy face from the movie The Mummy. I think yeah. So so you can paint that up, see what that looks like. Anyway, so that's the pictures I have of the Sahara. Now let's just talk about this for a second. Let's zoom out here again. Of course we're going to have a giveaway here. So what we're going to give away is everything that all of the 3D printed terrain. And that's pretty cool. Whatever size map you have, you'll just tell Doug, and that's what he'll send you, is that size of all of the terrain features. and you probably get to pick which middle section you want, I'm guessing. And so how you can enter this contest is in the comment section below the video. I want you to say, what would you do with this center section here? What would you put on there? You can say anything you want. It doesn't matter. Even if you see 10 other people wrote down the idea that you had, that's fine. Like if we get 10 people saying the same thing, then there's a good chance that you'll see that one for sale soon, right? So whatever you think, something cool, something that should go in the Sahara Desert, something crash landed in there or whatever, right? Anyway, so that's how you enter the contest. And the contest is for people who live in North America. Doug will ship you this stuff for free. Or if you live outside of North America, the price of shipping now is just ridiculous because of the price of gas. And so if you're living outside of North America, then if you're willing to pay for the shipping, then you can enter this contest. And if you send me $1.2 million American, what I will do is I will paint these up, all of this stuff here. I will put it on a billionaire's penis-shaped rocket, blast it off into space, bring it back down again, put it in a box, and ship it first class to your house. Deal? I'm going to need the money up front, though, okay? Anyway, we've still got some more to go here. Well, of course we've got the Himalayas. I think that's probably where the idea started from, have a 3D printed Himalayas, and then it just kind of spread from there to the other impassable regions of the map. It might have been Bob, my partner in the 1914 game. Doug asks us questions all the time. What do you think of this marker? Or what do you think we should do about that? Or got any other ideas? And we were throwing ideas. I think Bob threw the idea of 3D printed terrain. Anyway, so this would have been the original thing that we were thinking of, is the Himalayas. And it's going to be really difficult to see, and I can't show you any pictures of it because this one took longer to make. It just kept bending and breaking and things like that. And finally they got it done. And so Stephen Gelso didn't get a chance to paint one up. But there's lots of cool stuff in there. Let's bring this down over here. Let's see if we can zoom it. But it is going to be difficult to see because especially everything is white there. So it kind of washes out. So there's some kind of temple there. Right there we go. There's a temple up there. What else we got? There's an animal there. I'm not sure what that is, a mountain goat or something like that. He's pretty small. Then there we go. There's some bighorn sheep there. That's kind of cool. And then there's another, it's like one of those outpost kind of temples, right? Where it's just one monk sitting on top of a mountain. So that's one of those there. And then the Burma Road. Where's the Burma Road? Let's just move down here. Oh, we've gone too far. That's how hard it is to see. I think we got to move up here a bit. Okay, there we go. You can see where the Burma Road comes in and where it goes out. So what that is on there, you'll be able to see it better once it's painted, but there's a team of horses. I think there's 4 horses there, and then some kind of horse-drawn cart in behind them, right? And then, of course, the Burma Road that goes through the mountains there. So I think that's it. I think that's all the things that I was able to find on there anyway. Let's zoom back out again. There we go. Anyway, so that's what we've been up to lately. That's what the secret was that I couldn't tell you, is this 3D printed terrain stuff. And I was really excited when I got it in the mail because I'd only seen Stephen's pictures of it, right? And so then when I got it, like I was surprised at how heavy these things are. Not the little ones because they're pretty small, but the Sahara especially is really heavy. Yeah, and I can't wait to paint them. And I've got some paint I want to show you. Okay, so this is the last thing I wanted to show you. It's these paint sets here. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but HBG is selling these paint sets. Now these are good paint sets. They're not like the paint that I was using to paint my wing tips and the tips of my ships there, that was just cheap stuff bought at the local craft store here. These are Vallejo paints, and they're one of the top paint brands. So this one on the left here is, and sorry I had to go to the side here, but look at this to get the glare off of there. There you go, that's why. Anyway, this one is a Panzer Aces camouflage set. So this is for painting camouflage on your uniforms and your tanks and your vehicles of all kinds, your planes. There's 16 of them in there, 16 different colors, and it looks like there's a paintbrush in there too, which I'm really stoked about because my paintbrushes, I didn't spend a lot on them either, so that'll be nice to have a one really good one. Anyway, like what I want to paint here is terrain. And what is terrain? It's the surroundings. And what does camouflage do? It lets you blend into your surroundings, right? So I figured, hey, camouflage paint would be perfect. And you look at the colors in there, and yeah, that's, you know, lots of browns and greens and things like that. That looks like it's just what you need is something like camouflage to paint these 3D terrain sets, right? I might have to, I don't think I've got any white in there. I'm going to need some white, I think, to paint the mountaintops, because after I spray paint them with the base coat there, then I'm going to need to repaint the mountaintops white. So I'm going to need some white for sure. And maybe something else. Like I noticed that they sell these paints in town too. Like maybe I'll just buy a couple of those ones. Anyway, so these are great paints that you can get, and that's the one that I bought. And then this other one here, this is called washes. So what those are, it's like really thin paint, right? And you would paint something first, and then you would put this stuff over top of it. So it's really thin, it's kind of watered down, and so what happens is it flows off of the raised areas and down into the cracks. And so it gives something more definition, more depth to it, right? And you'll see that. I'm going to make a few videos on the painting that I'm going to do. I'm by no means an expert, but you can join me and we'll Forrest Gump our way through it, and that'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to doing all that. So anyway, that's just an option for you if you're thinking about getting some paints. These are good quality paints, and you know, if you're thinking about getting these other things anyway, then there you go. You've already got an order. You might as well just get them to throw some paints in there for you too, right? Anyway, that's about all I got for you today. So looking forward to painting these up for you, and then I'll do videos on not just the painting, but showing you what they look like afterwards. I'm going to do some at least one more video on the map, because I didn't really touch on the map. There's some things I wanted to point out to you. I've been watching the videos that other people have put out, and they're good videos, but there's some things that they're not missing or anything. They're just they're not aware of, like some of the things that went into creating this map and the 1914 map. So I'll show you a couple of those things, and that'll be in the future. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget about leaving a comment in the comment section, and take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.